Welcome to the Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Magazine podcast series where we cater to you mind, body, and soul. Join our host, Mr. Victor Francis, and his guests as they discuss nutrition, health, exercise, diabetes, and much more. Right here every Saturday at 7 p.m. Now, here's our host, Mr. Victor Francis.
Good night. Once again, welcome to another episode of Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Magazine podcast. And tonight we have an excited guest. She is awesome. She is a Trinidad and Tobago woman powerlifter, national powerlifter. She also is a self-mastery life coach. So she have a lot of belts underneath her, portfolio there. So without further ado, let's bring on Miss Rhonda Sanchez.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Rhonda Sanchez. Good night. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Good to have you. And how are you today?
Good to be here on this beautiful Independence Day for Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh yes, it's that day, and I look at that, and you're looking beautiful as always.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's good to have you on this day, which we celebrating, another year of independence as we go along. And we celebrating, talking to you tonight, and every time I have these podcasts, week after week, there's always someone who brings some different to the table, someone who could motivate people in different ways throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the Caribbean. So the guest that I bring here is always someone that can inspire, whether it's by a performer, an athlete, a doctor, a nutritionist, feature person who are different, someone who change your lifestyle. Any one of those, niche is good enough, because as you know, we really need to reach the people out there to try and inspire them to change their lifestyle, to do something that is they could benefit themselves, outside of what we try to do each day, which is go to work and just put ourselves last. It's important to get that balance. And I know before this conversation starts with you and I, you seem to be doing that really well. Balance is something that you seem to have down, and your portfolio is big. Which we are going to discuss now. So
Yeah.
before we get there, you could properly introduce yourself so people can know exactly who I'm speaking to.
Right. Okay. So my name is Rhonda Sanchez, as Victor has introduced me. I am a Trinidad and Tobago powerlifting athlete for the category of 84 plus kg masters. So in powerlifting, there are different categories. So I would have been nominated based on the Trinidad and Tobago Powerlifting Federation to represent Trinidad in the capacity of a powerlifter. So I do that. I'm also a life coach. I guide clients to, improve their life, become the best version of themselves, up level their mindset. So I specifically teach and coach, mentor from the perspective of energy, because everything is energy, right?
Yeah.
And it's really a different perspective from a life coach, career, so that clients can see how, if they hold a certain frequency and vibration, why they live in the life they live in, why the experiences and situations are coming up in their life, and how they can actually shift. So it's a very passionate job, and I enjoy it a lot. And I'm also the head of quality at Caribbean. So the sector head of the beverage sector. So from my 8 to 4, I'm working as a professional as well. So I wear several hats. So you mentioned balance there, and that is so important. And when people think about balance, they think about balance and equal weights, right? When that life throws balls at you, it's never the same weight. It's more about harmonizing life, because things are being thrown at you, and you really have to sing a song in that, so that you can actually vibrate to a tune where you are living the life that you want to live. Yeah.
Well, Rhonda, you making it sound easy for
Oh
people,
wow.
because I know, it's not easy. Even, I mean, my lifestyle is hectic, as you know as well. But we something, I think that people want to know, because every time I talk to someone about whether it's put themselves first, or start to change their lifestyle, whether go to the gym or go and do a walking or whatever, the first thing come to their mouth is time. Think I don't have time. If
Mm,
I can 8 to 4 or 7 to whatever, and the time I come home, I'm tired and this and that and the other. That seemed to be the norms, and you probably heard it before. So here we talking about time, and then you, and I'm glad that you mentioned that all that you do, because people might you listen to this, well, she probably working away, you know what I mean? And you have a full job, and I know that, right? You have a full job, plus you find time to train, and to train to
yes.
represent the country. You can't be going in there for no 15 minutes. So you
No.
had to push
2.5
iron.
hours a day.
Yeah, you had to push iron. All
Yeah.
right. And then you're still making time out of that as a life coach, self mastery,
Yes.
which is talking to people, motivating, inspiring people, let them know, hey, why they had to believe in themselves and things like that. Right. So that by itself is a one alone is a full
Yes.
profession.
That is so true.
One alone, because eight to four, that's most people's job, and that's like, when they finish that. So to muster up that energy, that strength again, and that
Hmm.
will, right? And it's not motivation; it's more than that. It's some form of discipline,
Yeah.
and as a self mastery coach, you need to shift that mental from
Yeah.
from 8 hours to work. After that, find
Hmm.
some how to muster some energy there to
Yes.
go there
Yes.
and pound that iron,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then
And
on top of
I,
that,
yeah.
yeah. And sorry, on top of that, you ain't just go and pound the iron, you're pounding the iron to compete, right, with other athletes out of Trinidad and Tobago, a region, international, which that by itself is a different training,
Yeah.
based on what I know. Right.
Yeah.
So how do you balance all of that?
Wow. Yeah. So that's a lot. That's
It is
a
a lot.
lot to
I know.
balance.
Yeah.
And it's never equal weights. So it's really about mastering your mind. So there's a saying, where the mind goes, the body follows, right?
Yes.
And to do difficult things, to do challenging things is very possible. And you really need to set your mind and prepare yourself, right? Prepare your body. Remember, I like to stress that we are three-dimensional. We are mind, body, spirit. So we have our mind. God give us this God-given talents. Once you have a sound mental capacity, you have your mind, and you have a body that works in conjunction with your mind, because where your mind goes, your body follows. And the body is like you have this tool. You don't think about your heart beating. Your heart just beats. You understand?
Yeah.
And you have this whole rhythm in this body, and this body is really led by your mind.
Yes.
And of course, there's the spiritual aspect of it, which is huge for me. Spiritual connection to God, right?
Yes.
It's really about balancing, it's really about fine tuning and harmonizing those three elements, right? So, your mind, you can set your mind, and that is the most important part for me. So, when I get up in the morning, I have a morning routine. When I get up in the morning, the first thing is gratitude, because gratitude is the answer to every question, and gratitude really forms and creates the frequency for receiving more. So you want more into your life, you want positivity, and you want abundance to flow into your life. Gratitude. It's like second nature for me now. When I get off the bed, the first thing I think about, what are the three things I'm grateful for? And I go into my personal devotion, right? So I do my prayer and my meditation, and then I set on the day. Now, of course, on Sundays, I prepare a timetable for the week, because having different jobs to juggle, you definitely need some kind of organization and structure.
Mhm.
So my day will be preset, and then I would just get into the right frame of mind. Right, that is important, because things happen sometimes. Situation happens. Somebody, a family member calls, and it throws you off. And it's important to take charge of your mind. So you take charge of your mind, and you know the tasks that you need to do for the day, and you execute with the right energy and the right vibration for excellence,
Mhm.
right? Um, so, I mean, as I said, I have an 8 to 4, so I get up in the morning, I go to work, I have a team to lead, so I have to put on that leadership hat, and I have to play that role until 4 o'clock. After 4, I've already set my mind for my workout because I get my workouts for training for the week. So I would go and I would have in my mind, okay, today's squats. And if I'm lifting heavy today, it's also setting your mind to lift heavy because you can't just go in, into training just like that from a busy day. Actually,
I know. Yeah.
You have to stop and take a 10-minute break and, calm your mind, calm your body, and get into that new frame of mind to now be able to go and execute and train for 2.5 hours. Right. So that is more like my routine. And then, of course, I have clients and I would schedule my clients in between so that they can get the best vision of me as well. Because I would not schedule at times where I'm tired and my body is physically not able to be my best self to support and serve them. Right. So that's the answer to balancing and juggling is really about planning and understanding about, as I said before, everything is energy. It's very important to put yourself in that energetic and that frame of mind where you can align to a frequency that would, equate to where you want to be. It really is a planning game. You can't if and life happens. It's like that's why I said it's like a dance, right? Life happens. Things are thrown at you and you really need to know how to, flow with it, ebb and flow.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because, and I saw you, and still on top of that, Rhonda, you still find time to go on a vacation. I saw you the other day, like you was
Yes,
on a vacation.
we
So
can't play harder.
your timetable, that timetable, whatever. I mean, that magic pen
Yeah,
because you're still, you're getting it done, and you still find time because, as you rightly said, it's balance.
yeah,
Because if somebody here watching our study, but your busy day, they might feel, well, she don't have a social life. She don't go and sit down and laugh a little bit with her sisters or friends or whatever the case is. So it's good because there's a lot of people who can't find that balance. And I know it's not easy. So whilst we talk about it, it's not easy, right? Because life is life, right?
life.
Life. So if you and you said something there which is important, prioritizing, right?
Yeah,
Because you maximize your time, maximize your day, because everybody, when they finish work at 8 to 4, including myself, your mind tells you, hey, go and rest yourself. You have a next day again tomorrow, and today was hectic, right? And not much people could, get themselves out of that mindset to really say, what, to shift. Shifting is not easy because your body telling you, feeling tired, and then your mind telling you, hey, my body's saying something, follow your body. So your why for pushing yourself beyond 8 to 4 to go and do what you tell yourself that is important for your mind, your body, your spirit, all right, your mental, everything, which is exercising, gymming, powerlifting. That why is, why you didn't just do like most people, just 8 to 4, you have a good job, just call that judge and finish your work, go home, watch some soap opera, watch some Netflix, and just call that a day. Why didn't you just do that? And before you
I
answer that,
did that.
before you answer that, before you answer that, let me add the next one to it. Why do you just like, you know what? All right, go to the gym. It's fine. Make it to the gym, exercise, whatever, and just call that George. Why you had to go to the gym and go at that level
Yeah,
to be a competitor into
yeah.
that sport that I know for sure is more mental than physical? Why didn't
Yeah.
just be normal?
I think I tried that method. I did that for years, right? And
Mhm.
I would have felt a level, I would have been feeling unfulfilled when I did that. And I always felt this nudge to push myself. I've always been an overachiever.
Oh,
And like in observing myself for the past decade, I realized that I pushed myself sometimes way further than my capacity and had to pull back. But it's just a natural tendency for me, to be the best that I can be, the best version of myself, as I say, right?
yes.
And in this quest, to be that best version of myself, I am who I am today. I actually did not plan to be a national athlete. That was nowhere in my plans in the last 5 years. It just happened in the journey of being the best that I can be in every moment. I've landed here. I didn't even think, like for the last decade, I wouldn't say, okay, I wanted to be a life coach. I wanted to be the head of quality in a beverage sector. No, it just happened. It just, because I would have challenged myself in every moment to be the best that I can be and take every challenge and every opportunity and make the best of it and choose the perspective of positivity, right? And to answer your question on why don't I just, go get up and, like do the mundane, go to work, come back, watch Netflix and stuff. I would have done that for a while.
Hmm.
I worked quite a number of years. I would have done that, and I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt
Yeah.
called to share. I felt called to um, add positivity to people's lives, and naturally that flowed into being a life coach, in helping people recognize their own limitations and break free from that. I get a level of passion from it. I feel a level of fulfillment from it, and even continuing to do more. So actually, in this capacity, I'm even pushing myself to level up and do more interactive courses, more volunteer work to support communities, where there are young people who are looking for mentors, looking for an example, a model to support them, to help them, and to guide them when there's a lot of challenges in their communities. There's a lot of problems. They grew up in broken families. So I'm even challenging myself in that capacity of coaching to do more. Yeah.
Yes, well, that's good. And obviously, I know, well, based on what I do, I know you'll be there, piggybacking on me in the communities, reaching people on wellness and all of that, because a big part of wellness, as you know, based on what you do on the life coach side, is mental, right?
Yes.
And it's a social thing, and you're correct. Broken families, broken home, and people looking for someone who they can relate to, someone who have been there.
Mhm.
It's one thing to come and say, well, I doing this and I doing that, but most people who saying that now, they haven't been there. They had to walk the walk that you walked, in the sense of, as you say, you do the 78 to 4, and you felt that it was missing something. There was more in you than just 8 to 4, right?
Right.
There's people who feeling that but don't know what to do. I spoke
Mhm.
with someone recently who I work with, and it's like, and her conversation will, she don't know what she wants. And there's somebody who can, yes, there's somebody who have a family, there's somebody who looks like they're succeeding, but
Mhm.
she at this cross where she don't know what she wants.
Mhm.
So what you want is, what you need and what you want is two different things,
Mhm.
right? Society let us feel that we just need a job and we just need to do the mundane, as but really and truly, there's a higher calling than that,
Yeah.
right? You would have answered. Most people is hear the calling, but they don't answer because they don't know it's a calling. They
Mhm.
just get a feeling, or they get a vibes, or
Yeah.
with the stuff, right? But
Yeah.
really and truly, use the inspiration of did I eat for, and you could have done what majority of women doing, which is just holding on to just the 8 to 4, have a good job, whatever. But you decide, what, give back, and giving back is, to me, it's that fulfillment is so, I mean, it's priceless. I
Mhm.
know that feeling because I live to help and to give back for what I do, and to have people actually doing that, in the sense of, look, especially trying to go to communities, because that's where a lot of broken people are, right? In communities, right? And to really push yourself, and I know you're pushing yourself to go to communities, right? To really reach out to the younger ones, because those are the people we had to reach. Those are the people to change tomorrow, today. So people like yourself, unfortunately, they don't have much people actually doing that, or say, what, I'm still working on me, but whilst I'm working on me and I'm doing this, I still want to go and hold a hand below and try and see if I can help. Because if
Mhm.
you help 1 in 10, that's good. 1 in 20,
Yeah.
that's good. Because based on where the society is going and what is deemed role models now, which is hard to find, we need people like yourself and others who can who show a positive image out there and could go out and say, you know what, I did it. I did it this way, and it wasn't enough for me. But there's
Yeah.
more to push yourself, and really, take time to really find yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people not finding themselves. They have material things, but they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. And I mean, you decide to do that self mastery, course and help people. I mean, that by itself, I keep saying there's so much broken people in this world and in our country. You and I know that. And sometimes the persons with the biggest smile, the people with the biggest smile are the most broken.
Right here.
Yeah.
I would have walked that mile, Victor. And as you speak it, I'm just reflecting on my own journey, because it has not always been rainbows and butterflies. And when you say that person with the big smile, that was me. I would have been at a point in my life, I would say 3-4 years ago, where it was like, God, is this holy big stones you're throwing at me? What you're trying to do?
That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. And now in retrospect, I'm so grateful for those moments, because it really brought me to where I am today. And like I really reach out and help clients to understand that you are going through these scenarios and the challenges right now to help you. You actually have to be grateful for it, right? And in this work that I do, I realized too that I am my own guinea pig, because I actually had to walk the mile and go through. I went through a divorce about 2.5 years ago. It was really horrible. I was completely depressed. I was, I used the sport of powerlifting to really alchemize and get rid of all of that pain. Because divorce sounds like death. When you hear divorce, it's like really bad, right?
Yeah.
And for me, there was a lot of energy locked into my body that I needed to really alchemize and transmute out. And for me, powerlifting was an avenue. And for others, the other opportunities can be an avenue to really deal with the issues that you have and heal and, come out. And as I said, in my journey, I had no idea that I was going to become a powerlifter. I just came to the gym because I needed to find something to do with my time. I realized parties and drinking. I need to do something to move my body. And, lo and behold, just dedicating my time, becoming motivated, and then realizing I'm discipline and consistency, actually reaping some rewards. Discipline and consistency turn into devotion, and now I love this sport. If I miss a gym day, I feel like if something is wrong with life. But the point is, really and truly, we all go through difficult situations at different phases in life. We are not perfect. And yes, you can see people wearing a smile and they're going through really challenging, difficult situations. Actually, that's what life is about. Life is about throwing challenges at you and you learning from those challenges, right? And, in terms of mindset mastery, it's really important to understand your mental self-image and the personal image that you have of yourself is the foundation of everything. Right. So, when I start off with my clients, we start talking about what do you think about yourself? So when you just mentioned somebody not knowing what they want, I would say, okay, let's forget about what you want right now. Let's think about what you think about yourself. And let's start there. Right. So when you now start to dig into why and start paying attention and becoming aware of who you believe yourself to be, you're going to realize why you're attracting the situations, why you're attracting the feelings that you have. Right. So it's all about your mental image and your imagination and, becoming like, those children have so creative. Children have this wild imagination. When you just observe them playing and you'll be like, wow, nothing to do that, and children just have this creativity and imagination that is not limited. And I encourage people to do the same because grown-ups now, when you grow up, you kind of you put limits on your mind and you never think beyond what your situation actually is. So, if you take the limits off, if you dare to just take the limits off and imagine where you can be, what do you feel? What do you want? What emotion you want lift off of you? What scenarios and situation and circumstance you want to create for yourself? What you want to manifest? That's my favorite word, manifest. What do you want to manifest? All right. Then you can now open up and take the limits of what you believe is possible for yourself, right? And that's where the work starts. And of course, using tools and techniques of creating the life that you want, you go into affirmations. Like for me, in my journey for my last competition, on the 8th of August, the affirmation that I said every single day was, every day, in every way, I am getting stronger and stronger. So somehow it seeped into my kind of subconscious. Every day and every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. And also, another affirmation I remember saying in the last month is, all things are working for my good. So things would have popped up that's not so positive. And I choosing to believe in this moment that whatever is happening, all things are working for my good. This morning I get up and say my prayers are covered. All things are working for my good. So affirmations, ways where we use our throat chakra, where we use our innate co-creation. Like I could go into, like, you're getting into my jargon here now.
Well, I realize you're getting deep down into your mental mastery thing.
So, like, God gives us free will, right? As I said, I really, hold spiritually dear to my heart. God gives us free will, and we are co-creators. So, we can use our voice. When you use your voice, your spoken word, this is a tool. So when you affirm stuff about yourself, you're the first to hear it. So when you say, I am healthy, I am strong, I am abundant, I am wealthy, I am, whatever you want to bring into your life, whatever situation that you want to manifest, you use those affirmation tools to reprogram what you would have believed and the mental image that you would have had of yourself previously, right? So to up level and become the best version of yourself, there's tools and techniques, affirmations, gratitude. As I said, gratitude is like top of the list for me. And in terms of taking action, right? God helps those who help themselves. You can't just say, okay, I'm praying for stuff and I want it to drop on my lap. You have to actually take action, right, in the direction in which you want to go. And then you'll start to realize bit by bit, things are working out. Like somebody come in and sponsor you for something that you didn't think that, you wanted to be in a specific place, and look, it's actually happening. That's when you realize that the synchronicities work all together for you to actually, be the best you can be and have the experiences that will up level your life and take you to the places that you want to actually be at, right? And I think that those are some mindset tools that I think that will be beneficial for anybody who feels heavy laden, who feels like they're not sure what they want to do. Start there. One other tool is allowing your body to feel. We have been inculcated, like, how men will cry. We have been inculcated in this belief system that it's bad to have emotions. I remember I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was like, you feel too much. You talk so much about how you feel. I was like, of course I talk about how I feel, because it's how I feel. It's what is the energy that's transmitting through my body. And it makes me realize and conscious to the fact that people don't really talk about how they feel. That's why all these diseases come up in your body, because you store everything in your body, right? The body holds the score. Every single thing is held in your body. So if you just have all these experiences, depression, frustration, feeling stuck, and you just not processing it, not getting an avenue for it to be felt, then you are just creating disease and like causing all these things that happen to you, and you're trying to figure out why, right? So another tool that is very helpful, and you may think it's far-fetched from mindset mastery, but it's actually very linked, is feeling your emotions. So I'll use an example in terms of when I get at home, I have to reset. And get to the gym. And God, anything can happen in a day that can throw you off emotionally. Something happens, somebody pissed you off. Let's say somebody pissed me off in a day. I now have to actually allow myself to feel pissed. In a healthy way, of course.
Yeah.
And like after you do that and after you practice doing that, you realize you're not going to feel and hold on to those emotions. You're actually going to move on and go to the other stuff, like just like children do. Children are muscle. 1 minute they're crying, next minute they're laughing
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
don't attach and hold on to emotions. And
yes.
and we as adults have to do the same and cultivate that kind of that kind of system where we don't hold on to things that happen. Allow, like, okay, I feel like crap right now. Allow myself to feel like crap, and then move on. And people get stuck sometimes holding on to stuff, resentment, unforgiveness. You know, you get stuck there, and you really need to move on and transcend and be the best version of yourself. You can't hold on to anything. Detachment is key.
Well, that is a lot, and that is, I think, what I will say with what you said there, and you're on point with everything, because I could relate to some of that even in my life. And what you now mentioned about people hold on to things, you and I know that is that seemed to be like everybody seemed to hold on, and it's like a internal cancer. When you
Yeah,
hold on to a thing, you're only damaging yourself,
yeah.
right? And I know it's easier said than done, but based
Mhm.
on what you do, with the mental side of it, that's why it's important for people to really have someone to talk to. And you're correct. Men, we was brought up, crying is a sign of weakness, which is it's not true. Now that
Yeah,
I'm an adult, I know that is not true. But most men grew up to, you know, and I could tell you because we was told from our mother, parents, men don't cry, they're supposed to cry, whatever. And so we keep everything inside, and that's why male suicide rate is so high.
and
And
anger, lashing out,
exactly, so that is, and
and violence
yes,
because
well,
that's the outlet.
it lead to violence,
Hmm.
right? So you tell someone to go and talk to someone like you is like me talking to nobody telling me I okay, I need nobody to talk to. That's I grew up here. I myself is to say that
Hmm.
because lack of education in that field, lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
right? And I realize now, open up and being yourself,
Yeah.
talking to someone like yourself is the best thing one could do to themselves because you get honest feedback, because most of the time we talk to ourselves and we answer what we say, asking ourselves the way we want to answer it, and it's not really the right answer, right?
You can't coach yourself. You
You
can't coach
cannot
yourself
coach
because
us.
you have
Nobody
your
coach yourself.
own belief system. You need somebody to actually hold
You
space and
cannot coach yourself. It's not
yeah.
possible, right? In no field in the world, you can't. Everybody has someone who the advisor.
Up to this
Yeah,
point today, I have a personal mentor.
no, but it doesn't mean anything, and
It
we
is
just
needed.
have to
Yeah.
go. Men just have to get on board more because in this field, you'll have more women doing that than men. I know, because it's a something we had to break. This ego, masculine, mannish behavior of not talking to nobody. Nah, go and take a drink or something, and it's those solve the problem. So I think the world is so evolved now, and social media and Google and all that. You can see where you're seeing program where men outside the modern here at least starting to come out now and speak of
Yeah.
depression and
Yeah.
talk to someone, even famous people and all. I've
Yeah.
been looking at and seeing advocating for men to come out and speak. And you mentioned something that you went through certain things back then, the
Yes.
divorce and this and that. That's what you said. And I'm glad you mentioned that because there's a lot of women I know going through stuff. And as I tell people is that when you go through things like that, you can either come out bitter
Go
or
better.
better. You could be a hater, or you could say, you know what, from this day, men, that's it, man dead. You know what I mean? You
Oh
know,
man.
all man bad. But what is admiring and inspiring with you, based on what you mentioned there? Yes, it is hurtful. It's hurtful. Anybody who go through that
Yeah.
go with you.
It's
It's not
painful.
the word itself is not a nice word. It's just
Yeah.
is. And yes, you feel it. You're human. You feel it, and then your outlet won't just party, alignment, drinking, and whatever. You choose a different outlet, which I know and you know that it will it's positive to your body and your
Yes.
mind as well. Gymming in any form of fashion, walking, running, anything that
Mhm.
exercise is good for your mental and
It
your
stretches your
physical,
mental capacity.
right? So
Yes.
and then you would if you know life, and I can tell you I am trying to keep a one when coming to myself and my God.
Mhm.
I'm very spiritual into that one-on-one relationship, right? And I realized, and you mentioned it just now there, yet unfortunately we can't see the future, and God work backwards. He work from the future come forward. Yeah.
It'll make sense on me later.
Yes. And so when things happen, like how you mentioned that, if certain adversity, looking back now, didn't happen, you would not be where you are, and you would not be who you are right now.
Correct.
To say that you're going to go to communities now to reach
Yes.
down or reach out to help the youngsters, right? So
Yes.
if you go back some years, as you mentioned, 3 or 4 years ago, right? If
Mhm.
that situation didn't
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 happen.
didn't happen, you
And
would
I
have been
wasn't.
no, you'd have been just
This
Rhonda.
version, I would have been a different version of
You'd have been
myself.
a different version that what society dictates.
Yes.
Just fall in the system and do what was set to do from small, go to
Mm-hmm.
school, get education, get a job, and just right out to the sunset. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people that say, you know what, I believe I would more than that.
Exactly.
You can still go to school, get education, get a job, but it is end there.
Yeah.
Push yourself to the limit. And
Mm-hmm.
you would have came out of that adversity in your life. And as you rightly said, you did the 8 to 4, just, try there, but you felt that there was something missing still. And
Yes.
it's something that only you could feel.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, living today, going to work 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning till the evening time, and they're feeling something, but they don't know what it is. You know, they're kind of feeling that this is not where it's supposed to be, or there's more out there, but they don't know how to get there. And I think that is where someone like you comes in, because if we having this conversation, for instance, I just said, you know what, I feel like I need something in right with me. I'm feeling that this is not where I want to be. I can't figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. That's why it's important for people out there when you haven't, you're feeling that you're just not settled, you're not happy. You have everything that what the world said will make you happy, but you're not.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You hit the
Yeah,
nail there. Because
yes,
I did actually, that was my story. Yeah.
uh,
I pursued and chased every single thing that I thought would make me happy. So
uh,
the job, I wanted to be a manager very early in my 30s, and I was able to achieve that. I wanted to have a husband, and I achieved that. I wanted to have a house, I achieved that. So I just keep adding to the list. I want to travel, I want to go to different places, and then I realized, wait, I am not happy. I am very much unhappy, and I was unhappy within myself.
yes,
Other people cannot be held responsible to make you happy. You have to be the
correct,
one to make yourself happy.
correct.
And when you enter into a marriage or a situation where in a relationship where you're dependent on the other person to make you happy, and they fall short, they do. It's not in their capacity to make you happy in the first place. So they
Yes,
will always fall short, right?
yes,
If you are the one to make yourself happy,
yes,
then you're going to realize that, wait, I need to choose myself. I need to love myself. I need to take care of myself, because you're the only person who you're going to be with for this entire lifetime. You know,
mm,
it's just you. Of course, you can have somebody else to share that experience with, but you have to fill your cup before you can be of any service, any support, or any help to anybody else. So, I mean, I went through that journey of an quest for happiness, and I had the checklist. I had everything on that list done. And at the end of the journey, I'm like, okay, this is not a happy vision of Rhonda. I don't know what else. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know what else I need to make me happy. And then when those calamities and life challenges started to come down on me, I was thinking it was the worst thing. And now I can sit here and say it's the best thing that happened to me.
yes,
Because going down into that depression and that in that phase in my life, I realized, wait, I started to take a torchlight, because first thing I seek help. So I made sure I had my mentors. I made sure I had my own coaches to guide me, because I couldn't guide myself out of it. But people who would have been in similar situations than me, like me, at that time, was able to hold my hand and take me over the bridge. Right? I
yes,
could not do it on my own, and I could never said that. I could never say that. For first and foremost, it's God's grace that I'm still alive after that whole traumatic experience. But um that mentor that I had that really listened and was there day in day out, supporting me, guiding me to get the insight, get the awareness, and see the perspective of things, why things are happening, is the reason why I would have come through that journey as this version of myself right now. You know, and people get stuck along the journey, rightfully so, because they don't have the right people supporting them, they don't have the right resources, and they don't have the right help. And I'm extremely grateful for those adversities and life, holy big stones, as I call them.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's like some big stone, you know, some serious big stone straight to my head.
Yeah, Lord of gosh, no more, no more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
In Europe, it just like flat, and it like, I used to use this analogy, like literally, I'm like, God, you need to peel me off the pavement because I am so down, you know, like, you know, you're like
yeah,
the sum of the earth,
yeah,
peel
yeah.
me off the pavement and lift me up. And, you know, and from strength to strength, literally, lifting myself up and building my mind up, building my mental image of myself up to um, really believe in who God says I am, you know, because there was a misalignment there. I didn't have that belief that I am worthy, that I'm valuable, that I'm enough. I really did not believe it. I might say it and smile, but in my heart of hearts, I don't believe it. And
Yes,
really, you know, what those situations brought to me is face to face with that belief system, and then I can go into dig into the healing of why I feel this way. What situations would have transpired in my early childhood years and formative years to make me believe this at this age in my life, and you know, really face those visions, those past visions, inner child healing, and all those different versions of myself growing up, and really face those belief systems and correct it and course correct as I go through each version of myself until I meet the current version of myself. And now I know who I am. I know I have confidence to say that I'm a child of God. I'm blessed and highly favored. When people ask how you're going, I'm like, I'm blessed and highly favored and flavored.
yeah. Well, fever and flavor, yes. But you know, to get to this point to say to speak like that is, you know, after all that is really truly amazing. And
Yes.
yes, you know, someone speaking like that obviously would have, you know, find that one-on-one with the creator, which is good,
Yeah.
you know. And you know, I was listening to one of my speaker I listened to, I think, I don't know if it's Les Brown or Jim Rohn, one of them. And you know, you know, so when people, I think what I said, when you know, everything that is there, you know, when they a plant, you know, you have to plant in the ground a tree, and then, you know, it seems like it's buried, right? But really and truly, it need that in order to grow. So sometimes when life, life in and
And
throwing
with
dirt on you, right? Like the big stone you're talking about there, right? That's dirt,
some boulders.
some boulders, but you need dirt in order to be, you need to be planted to come out,
Yeah.
and you are actually that blossom flower as we speak. Because when he was going through what he was going through there, what you call boulders, he was really being buried
Yes.
mentally, spiritually, right? And you came out of that. The process was hurt, tears, cry, tears, gym, whatever the case is. All that was being buried. And when you come out after that, here you are. Life is, you know, God has blessed you, whereby you find your passion in the gym. That's one. You would have find your passion with self mastery because you know you needed that yourself, right? When he was going through what he was going through. And also, it would have opened doors for you in your career, in your job, and things like that, based on what you said earlier on. So now, because of that dirt that was on you 3 years ago, where you didn't really love yourself, you felt it wasn't enough, I should say, right?
Yeah.
But that was necessary,
Yeah.
right? Because as we know the scriptures, you know, when certain people thought they killed Jesus, they really, you know, they raised him. They didn't kill him.
Mhm.
So when they thought was doing a good for them, they were they was doing a good for the world,
Correct.
right? So I
Similarly.
I tend to look at life that way through
Yeah.
my eyes
Hmm.
when they're going through challenges. And I do believe, and I'll always be advocate for, you can't do it alone. You had to talk to someone,
Yeah.
you know, because it's so important. Because I know the feeling when I feel like you saying boulders, but from a man view, my eyes feel like, you know, a strong, big 500 pounder stamp on your chest. When you go through that, you feel like you can't breathe. You just feel like the room, if it's a 20 by 20, the room must feel like a 5 by
Mhm.
5 and all of
Yeah.
that. But you know what? You're being buried, right? And
Yeah.
anything good that you bury, any fruit, any plant, when it comes up, is amazing, like a Chinese bamboo, right? So the thing about it is, and looking at you now, and looking at you back then, looking at yourself, through your eyes, not the
Yeah.
physical aspect, but through your eyes, it's two different person, I believe. When you see yourself doing what you're doing and speaking how you do, speaking based on um, mental strength,
Yeah.
and all of that, is
Mhm.
two different person. I imagine you will say to yourself, because you know what? Now you will say, thank God for those boulders, you was
Yeah.
bricks, and you will say thanks,
That's
because
exactly it. And that's why in the current moment right now, it is so important, even though you don't understand the challenges that you're facing, you remain grateful for it. Because you know further down the road, you don't know what God doing right now. Further down the road, you're gonna understand. So I really flip. I call it flip it. When I find myself holding a negative perspective on a situation, I say, Rhonda, flip it, because you don't know what this negative perceived situation will result in. And I do affirm daily that all things are working for my good, and this will work for my good too. And when you
yes,
do that, you actually take the weight off of that perspective literally lifts off of you, and now you are free. You're freed and detached yourself from that belief and thought to now be, you know, present and really manifest in the present moment what it is you really want to be, and vibrate at the frequency to attract what you want for yourself in that moment. You know, a lot of people talk about feeling stuck. Like this morning, I was chatting with someone and they were expressing to me that they were feeling stuck. And I said to her, I said, if you're feeling stuck right now, I can tell you it's because you're holding on to something. If it's a perspective, it's a belief, it's a thought, or maybe it's your environment or something that is you are holding on to that's creating the stuckness. You have to free yourself, you have to release, right? And really and truly, only you can do that. When you say a prayer and you ask, because God says ask and you shall receive, right? When you say
mm,
when you ask, God answers. We need to tune in to the frequency of God's voice to hear the answer. And sometimes we hear
mm,
the answer and we say, no, that's not the answer. I'm guilty of that. You're like, that's not the answer, because that's not the answer I want to hear. And then you have to
yes,
go around the mountain again
mm-hmm,
and come back to the
mm-hmm,
same point and
yes,
in the same posture and ask again. So, it's so important to hold the frequency of gratitude. Because gratitude is really giving thanks and having that humility for what you have right now. And there's always somebody in the world, somewhere, who has it worse off than you. So you always have a reason to be grateful. There must be something to be grateful. Even in the worst of situations, I challenge myself and others to hold that frequency of gratitude, because gratitude levels that vibration gives you that openness to receive more things to be grateful for. So really and truly, you're opening up yourself to abundance when you hold gratitude as that vibration of gratitude.
and that is why, Rhonda, people need to get a life coach or get you. That is why, because I will tell you this, what you mentioned there just now is that most people don't believe, right? And some years ago, I and all didn't believe that, you can actually change the way you think, right? Because without we wanted to think about something, our thought just pop up,
Yeah.
like we up in the morning, negative thought come, I have this to do, I just built a pay, I ain't see where I getting this money from, and this and that and the other. You set the day already from the beginning before you touch ground. So you mentioned earlier on, before you touch the ground, you have some affirmation. You said that today going to be a good day. I love myself, no matter
Exactly.
what. Da, 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 da. No, I tend to be in that zone now. I
Yes.
said, after my prayers, I say, you know what? No matter what comes forward, I'm going to deal with it because I'm going to have a good day,
Yeah.
right? And that send that positive thought. And I have to tell you this, Rhonda, it really works because you
Mhm.
find yourself after a period of time of repetition, you find yourself now, these negative thoughts, they try to sneak in now. They're not coming in abundance again because they realize you're showing gratitude, even if things are not what you want at the moment, or you're not
Yeah.
where you are, where you want to be. But if you can still show gratitude in in those situations, as
Yeah.
you rightly, as you said, you open up yourself for abundance, and you're
Yeah.
being very grateful with what you have. As rightly you said, there's people out there somewhere. There's always somebody who have it worse than yourself.
Yes.
And one thing I also, and I tell friends of mine is that, dwelling on a negative situation don't change the situation at that any time. You could dwell, what, how we go get money to put gas. As you say that, or you think that to yourself, the situation don't change,
Correct.
right? It don't change. Negative thoughts don't solve the negative, whatever it is,
Situation.
It doesn't
Correct.
make sense thinking about it and whining. You only suffering yourself mentally, right? And
You
blocking,
lower your vibration. That's what you
and
do.
that is exactly what you put
And
it.
you're going to attract more reasons to be
Yes.
to prove to yourself why things are bad.
And most
It's
people
a
don't
setup.
understand. You see, when it's yes, it's a setup. And you see, when I say that, most people don't understand, Rhonda, the law of attraction. I can tell you this. I
Yeah.
learned this big. I'll be honest with you. I learned this
Yeah.
big, and I'm pretty sure you learned it big as well,
Yes,
right?
that's
And
essentially the
yes,
avenue I teach, the basis I teach on, because everything
yes,
is energy. And so
and
there's attraction. And in the
yes,
in the manifesting world, well, in the energetic world, which is the world we live in, like attracts like. So if you have negative thoughts, you will attract negative circumstances and situations.
yes, yes,
So it's not opposites attract, it's the opposite to that. Like
yeah,
attract like. And people are not aware, they are not consciously aware. So they spiral into this downward negative thinking and they attract more negativity to them. And now they have even more proof as to why life
yes,
is bad. And
yes.
it's really hard when you're in that pit to dig yourself out. But if you challenge yourself and you dare to believe in a higher power
I
than
have to.
you, if you dare to believe that and you have hope, hope is literally something that I held on to because I had no reason when I was in my situation, but I held on to hope. And hope was that positive feeling that I held on to that brought me, attracted situations and opportunities for myself to dig myself out of my own hole and seek the help and attract the help that I needed, to be at a place where I could actually function. I can think logically. I mean, I've come from a very far place. Most people don't know the full story, but it has been a very, very difficult road. And sometimes I get very emotional when I reflect on it because, thinking to myself now, I didn't even think that now I could be a representative of Trinidad and Tobago. I always felt like, national pride and it would be nice to do something for Trinidad. I remember going up for Miss Trinidad and Tobago and not getting the opportunity, but I always looked for avenues to represent my country and I manifested that, like in the middle of the worst situation of my life. I was as able to attract a circumstance that is something that I really wanted and I feel very passionate about and very honored to represent my country and bring home medals for my country. It's like surreal, right? But it's all in service of your thoughts. And sometimes people don't realize that they are not their thoughts. So most people, they think a certain way and they think that's who they are because they think you are not
Yes,
your
yes,
thoughts. You have
yes.
like about, when you do the theory behind it, you have like 16,000 thoughts that fly through your mind a day,
It is a lot.
conscious and unconscious. So there are thoughts that fly through your mind and you have no idea what the thoughts are. But but who you are is the observer behind those thoughts. And once you become consciously aware of that and you start observing your thoughts, you're going to have 16,000 thoughts, but there's going to be a team. There's a overall team to your thoughts. And now, when I start working with my clients, we started now become observant of what these thoughts are and understand the team, why you're thinking that way. And as you say, course correct. Now you can actually rewire your mind. And when you rewire your mind, you think the thoughts that will be healthy and will attract the life and the circumstance that you actually want to live. And at least for me, I moved from feeling trapped, feeling like if I'm in a situation where I have no hope, hopeless,
Mhm.
feeling stuck, to one where I feel absolutely free, contented, happy, joyous, ease, you know. And, those are the dynamics because we live in a world of duality. So you have opposites. Those are the dynamics. So when people come and say they're feeling all these negative, I'm like, okay, the negative is not really a bad thing. It's just something. No, we have to transmute that what you consider negative into where it should be to really manifest the life that you want and be in situations and circumstances. If it's being debt free, if it's finding your life partner, if it's owning a home, if it's buying a new car, if it's getting land in your job, your dream job, you can do it. There is no limitation to anything. And the moment I realized that was the moment I jumped out of my bed, jumped out of my skin and say, here what, I'm gonna create the life I want for myself.
Yes. Yes.
And I teach people to do the same. And it's really nice to have clients who, like, I will call them lifetime clients now, because they make sure and keep in touch because they are so intrigued when they start manifesting stuff on their own. And they start to see, and their eyes become open to the energetic world that we live in and how like attract likes. And when they actually put the tools and techniques in place, they actually reaping the rewards and actually manifesting the things that they want. They realize, hey, this is something that's real. This is not any kind of abracadabra, do some kind of thing. No, this is actually principles that we live by in this 3D reality that we live in, right? So yes.
Well, most people, Rhonda, feel, to get what you're speaking about there is about action and has nothing to do with your thought. And that is why so much people feel depressed and they cannot reach what they truly want to reach in life, because they have it reversed, that.
Yeah.
Because we feel that we had to go and work hard and this and that. And I ain't saying to work hard, don't get me wrong. But we just leave out the part about manifesting your thoughts to whatever you want to achieve. And you can. Now, again, once you listen to, and I listen to a lot of motivation speaking, and they speak the same language.
The same thing.
And I didn't understand that earlier on in my life, whereby, and I could testify to things like that. I could trust me, I could tell you that. So it works, right? And it's something you had to keep on over and over, because the negative thoughts always there to throw you, of course. But as
the
I
biggest
said,
enemy that you have is your inner me. So people look outside and say, oh, this, like different situations is a problem. But the problem, I know before you even come to me as a client, the problem is you. Sometimes people, they take that real hard. Like, how could I be the problem? But really and truly, you are the problem, because you need to shift what you believe is possible for yourself. You need to shift the emotions and the vibrations that are the energy that you are harboring and holding on to. You are the one. You are empowered. You're the only one who can do it for you. You can't do that for somebody else. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned in this life. I wanted something so much more than that person wanted for themselves. And I had to learn the very hard way. I cannot make a decision for somebody else. That person has the empowerment to make that decision on their own.
Well,
You can only choose for yourself.
And that is a lesson, Rhonda. I've learned that the same way, and I've learned it the hard way as well.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. And, not staying in those kind of thought, but what I could say is that, most people, and you said something earlier on that, love the person you see in the mirror. Most people looking for love and happiness from someone or something, a job. Most people don't look within themselves, and that's the problem we have today. We're looking for people to make us feel good, all right? We're looking for that, and once you look for that, there's no person out there existing like that. Nobody on this planet. You are the person.
Soulmate. So when you find your soulmate,
yes,
you are your soulmate.
Yes. And when you do that, Rhonda, and you find that person, which is yourself, the person who you really deserve will find you.
Correct.
Will find you, right? In that aspect, whereas friends,
because
the company,
it's the same law of
the same law.
Because you're holding that love genuine, and this is not fake love. Not like, okay, fine, I love myself. No. Genuinely love yourself, and it will show. when you actually
Yes,
love
yes,
yourself authentically. You
yes,
will take care of yourself. You would not allow people to speak to you a certain way. You will not accept unacceptable behavior. You will use your throat chakra and state your case and stand your ground. You would fight for your own justice. When you
yes,
love yourself, it's going to show. When
yes,
when somebody loves another human being, you can be an onlooker and see, yeah, that person real like that. That man
yes,
real love that woman. When you
yes.
love yourself, it shows.
It
And
shows.
only when you love yourself enough to the level at which you should be, then that person will appear. So when people come and say, "Oh, I
Yes,
want to be married. I'm getting later in age. I'm 35. I want to," I'm like, "Okay, well, let's start loving you, because
yes,
that's the only how he'll show up. He's not gonna.
yes.
You're gonna get people showing up at the level at
Mm,
which you love yourself. But if you ain't love yourself enough, then don't even bother.
no
Don't
problems.
even bother to go into the
Yeah,
dating world. Stop. We need to
yeah,
get to know you.
yes.
I remember that for me when I felt like I was ready coming out of my divorce to start dating. My coach was like, no, you're not ready yet. You want wine? Go and buy yourself a bottle of wine and sit with yourself. And I'm
Yeah,
like, but it was the best advice ever because I wasn't ready. I had to actually gradually start looking and, how can I love myself? What can I do? What do I want? And when I start showing up, I started realizing, wait, this is actually fun. And now I'm like, I don't, it's a very thin line. I was like, I don't need somebody to make me happy. I can do this on my own. Of course, I'm willing and welcome for someone to come and add to this happiness. But now it's not about getting happiness through someone. It's about
yes,
embodying happiness on your own. And that
yes.
is a beautiful experience that I wish
Ye-
everybody can experience because you feel fulfillment with yourself. You feel as settled with yourself. And you,
Yep.
as I said, you don't have to accept substandard. You don't have to accept,
No, no,
anything that is not deserving.
no. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. Just and it is no, it is
Yeah.
no. Once you, some in life, I believe, sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself.
Yes.
And then when you really find yourself, then you can speak the way you speak in there, and then it doesn't matter who enter your life in what capacity it is, you would know that energy, that vibes. No, that's not. We're not.
There's love
No,
myself. Sorry.
no, right? And then let's make sure and let them loving yourself based on what you're saying is not being selfish,
No.
right?
No.
Exactly. So when you
No.
say that,
It's
and no, let them know, hey, it's not being selfish.
self
Is that
full. It's
it's
filling your cup. It's being
right?
self
And
full. It's
then therefore, you can't once you can do that, all right, and you don't have to look for anything else external, because
yeah.
everything that you're looking for is right inside, as you might rightly said. And it's sad, but unfortunately, most people haven't found that person,
Yeah.
right? And we are broken. There's a lot of us broken all around that, and
Yeah.
that's why what you're doing there is so important, because a lot of people need help, and
Yeah.
most of them smiles,
Yeah.
smiles.
Pretty smart.
And yeah, and there's the loudest person in the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
but deep down
Yeah.
they're crying. And I really do hope that you, well, I know that you are going to reach out to those who need the help, because you're doing
Yeah.
a fabulous job by itself.
Thank
So I know
you.
before we go, I want you to state your social handles and
Oh,
where people can find you and things like that.
okay. So I'm mostly on Instagram at www not w manifesting with Rhonda. That's my handle on Instagram, and my website is also manifestingwithrhonda.com, and my Gmail is manifestingwithrhonda@gmail.com. So Rhonda is spelled Rhonda, just like So if you want to connect with me, you can definitely send me a DM. I have free discovery sessions, 30-minute discovery sessions with anybody who is interested in learning more and seeing if we are fit to work together in the capacity of a life coach and supporting persons through transitions in their life. Um, and I've had clients with several different challenges and success stories. And like every success story, I feel like if it's my own success story, that's why it becomes this job becomes so passionate, and the bonds are built, there, and they support each other. So you can find me at www.manifestingwithrhonda.com or manifestingwithrhonda on Instagram.
Right,
Yeah.
great. So again, Rhonda. So people, I recommend Rhonda. Want to call
Oh,
her? She can help. That's my life coach and all. I tell her only one time. So when I see Vic for Mr. Fortune's Fitness, big and strong. That's my person. That's my person when I'm
yeah.
feeling not so strong. To boost me up on the outside and on the
Yeah.
inside, right? So, Rhonda is on social media, as you all know her there, and she's a wonderful person. Reach out to her because all of us need help. All of us need someone to talk to. And men, I'm advocating for men. Talk to her. I know man doesn't want to talk to man. If you don't want to talk to your partner, talk to Rhonda. At least she's a pretty woman. That might encourage you, right? If for those who don't want to, I know men. I know. Stop
Yeah.
going by the bar and sit down and we'll talk. No,
Yeah.
you're talking to your partner who don't know nothing, right?
Yeah.
Go by somebody who could guide you. And most importantly, Rhonda had she walked the walk, so she talking the talk. She's not someone who just went and learned it and went and learned this and telling you something she hasn't been through. She, as she rightfully said, she had been through certain things, and
Yeah.
she was at rock bottom collecting holy big stones, right? Right? Manna from heaven was not bread; it was big stones, right?
Yeah.
And she came back out of that, and she's awesome, representing Trinidad and Tobago, doing a fabulous job. She's a wonderful person. So reach out to Rhonda. Rhonda, again, thanks again
Thank
for
you
being a
for
guest on
having me.
Fortress Fitness Podcast. And
Yes.
may the Lord continue to bless you and reach, I know you're aiming for the moon. I know you're going to reach there. And we will keep in touch
Yes.
and have a blessed night, a wonderful
Thank
weekend,
you.
and we'll catch up again. So
Okay.
take care. Night, Ron.
Good
Bye
night.
bye. Good night. Yes.
Thanks for watching. Special thanks to our partners, Virtual Scope VA Services, where you get virtual services done your way. See you next weekend, same time, same place.